What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Bible Business Plan Podcast. Super excited to be with you again today. And got a guy on the show today, got a guest, a guy I've had an opportunity to really get to know lately, just a super dude, awesome business owner. And he's going to be bringing you some Bible bombs today. It is the SpeakerLab.com's own Grant Baldwin. What's up, man?
What's up, doctor? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man, because I'm talking to you.
Come on now. We get to live these crazy good lives, huh?
I know, right, man? We always say, me and Grant are talking sometimes, we're like, we get a little into the weeds, we're like a little stressed out, and we're like, man, this bag of gold is heavy.
These are first world problems.
First world problems, man. But, we are blessed, and I believe that God blessed us so that we could bless other people. So let's bless some people, man, with the Bible today. And tell everybody, man, a little bit about what you do in your business, so we got some context. And then, man, maybe just share like one or two of your favorite Bible verses that have really impacted, you and your life, but especially your business, decisions you've actually made in the business world.
Yeah, so the nutshell is that I actually used to be a youth pastor. So growing up, I was really involved in my local church. My youth pastor had a really big impact in my life. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be a professional teenager. That seems like a really cool gig. So,
right.
So went to Bible college, was a youth pastor for a little while. Parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't like. But one thing I really enjoyed and I got to do a lot of was speaking. And so I felt like I was a decent speaker. I got to speak a lot, obviously, to the youth group, then was speaking some on the weekends in big church, and I was getting good feedback. I'm like, all right, I think there's something there. This is fun. I enjoy doing this. I knew a couple guys who were speakers in college. I worked for a guy who was a speaker and just kind of helping him on the back end of the business. And so I saw like, okay, there's this speaker thing there that's kind of intriguing. So after I left the youth pastor job I was in, decided I wanted to really pursue a career as a speaker. So didn't really know where to begin. And again, met a few guys and just kind of paying attention to what they were doing and kind of figured it out along the way. And so for the next several years, really built the business as a speaker, traveling full time, doing 60, 70 events a year, was doing mostly in the education space, a lot with high school students, college students, a lot with parents and teachers, and just really enjoyed it. But I got to a point where I was doing a lot of speaking and a lot of traveling and wanted to cut back. And so then started to learn a little bit about online business and seeing what some people were doing in the online space. And then was getting a lot of people that were asking me like, hey, how do I become a speaker? Like if I wanted to do this, where would I even begin? And so
isn't that how it always works out?
Right, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like you do something, you do it well, people see you do it well, and then it's like, how do I do it?
I want in on that.
I want some of that pie.
So so a couple years ago we started basically just teaching the business of speaking, and we created an online course that did really well. And it's as the online courses continue to do well, we've really decreased the number of speaking gigs that I'm personally doing. And so now the bulk of what we do is we teach other people on the business of speaking. How do you actually find and book speaking engagements? Like you mentioned, we have the Speaker Lab now, where we have a couple different courses and our podcast, and basically, just teach people how to find and book paid speaking engagements. So it's been a fun run for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I love this too because you really help a lot of different kinds of people. I bet, like we want to do some speaking in business. There's other people that want to be pastors. That's a speaking type deal. So I bet you get to like see and work with kind of a wide variety of people through your business.
The nice thing with speaking is there's no right or wrong way to do it. And there's some people who want to do what I did in terms of doing 50, 60, 70 events a year. And some people are like, nah, I got a good thing going. I'd love to do 5. And I just don't know where to get those 5. We have a lot of people in ministry, people that are currently in ministry and in the church world who want to do a little bit of speaking on the outside, on the side. And then some that are like, hey, I want to make the transition out and I want to speak more full time and I just don't know where to begin. So speaking is a lot of fun. But a lot of people, like one of the lines I like to use is when I was getting started was that I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I think there's a lot of speakers like that. They're going like, all right, I'm a decent speaker. I've done enough speaking to know that like there's something there. But I just don't know what to do next. You just don't know what you don't know. And so that's definitely where I was at. It's definitely where a lot of people that we work with are at. And so hopefully we're able to kind of bridge that gap.
Cool, man. Well, listen, you influence a lot of people, either on stage, you got a lot of people coming through your community. Jocelyn and I feel that weight sometimes too, because we do have a lot of people that come through our community. So it's really important that guys like us who have some influence on some people do ground our businesses in, biblical principles. Because if we don't, we start making decisions on our own, we're probably going to make bad decisions and we could lead people in the wrong way. So if you could just share with everybody maybe a verse or two that's really important to you in your business, how you run things, and maybe how God has either worked through your business or maybe through some of your failures using that verse.
Yeah, one verse that's always been very instrumental in my own life is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. And that actually kind of came up earlier in my life, like pre-business days. Early on in high school, my parents got a divorce, and at the time, I didn't really know anybody whose parents were divorced, and it really just kind of jacked my world for a while there. Of going like, I don't, this is not supposed to happen. I didn't think this, I thought this was going to happen to other people, but not to my family, so really just kind of messed with me for a little while. And that was definitely a verse then that was really, really pivotal, of just like, of recognizing that, I didn't see this coming, and maybe even my parents didn't see this coming, but it's here and it's a new reality. It wasn't something that threw God off, and he knew it was coming, and he knows how it's all going to play out. And so I think even fast forwarding now to today in business, I mean, Shane, like we've both been at this for a little while. I've been self-employed for about 10, 11 years. And being an entrepreneur can be really like the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And there's days where you just feel like, dude, I just feel on top of the world. This bag of gold is heavy. And then there's other days going, right. Dang, what am I doing? Like, is this like, what if those all caving in at any moment?
It says bag of gold, but it might be bag of lead. I need to look inside that bag.
Yeah, bag of rocks or coal or something. Like, so I remember talking with an entrepreneur. I live here in Nashville, and there's a couple entrepreneurs that get together for breakfast every few months. And so I remember a couple months ago coming to one of these breakfasts, and there's a guy there who had just quit his job, had been kind of building his side hustle for a little while, and just quit his job. This was the first full week that he was self-employed, that he was an entrepreneur. And I remember asking him like, hey, dude, how you feeling? How's it going? And he's like, dude, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I'm worried. I was like, I'm 10, 11 years into this. That doesn't go away. Like that stays. So I think there's all that to say, like, because there's so high highs and such low lows, just knowing that, you know what, none of what happens, it may throw us off and it may catch us off guard, but like God sees that happening. Like I'll give you a specific example. I remember this past year, we had a great year coming into the fourth quarter, and then fourth quarter sucked. It was horrible. And then like starting of this year was just a disaster. Like nothing was going well. We had like one of our lowest revenue months that we've ever had. And it was just like, you're just questioning life, You're like, I got to do something. Like, this is not working. And you don't really know why it's not working. And now fast forward, we're literally a couple of months later, which in the scope of life is just nothing. And things are just hitting on all cylinders now. We've had some great months, like back-to-back, amazing months. And it's one of those things I look back on a couple months ago going, I was super stressed and just anxious about all of that. And then I look forward a couple months and like, oh, hey, look at that. It worked out again. Look at that shot.
Yeah.
So I think it's always just a super helpful reminder to know that in those moments where I feel anxious and I feel stressed and I feel caught off guard with what's happening in business or with life, that, God knows how things are going to play out, and things work together for the good. And they work together to help us prosper and not to harm us. So I got to remind myself of that daily.
Yeah, man. I've got a buddy of mine who's also an online entrepreneur now. He's like me. He used to be a school teacher, right? And some days when you're having those like bad weeks, like we touch base with each other about every day or two, and it'll be like, what are you doing? And about every week, at least once, one of us will write back, I guess getting my teacher resume ready because I suck at this. This is terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I have a terrible business owner. I've done something stupid again. And man, that is a great reminder. It's funny how you can see these two in hindsight.
Yeah.
Like you just said, like, oh man, I look now. Man, it was crazy to be worried back then because it was going to work out, right? And I look back to where I'm sitting in this chair right now talking to you all the way back. Like I can look back into high school. When I was in high school, I had a devastating knee injury. I tore all of the ligaments in my leg in one game. Like all four of them broke. And it ended my football career, right? But it's so funny when I look back at the path that God had planned out for me. Like, if I had stayed with football that whole time, I'd have probably been a different person. I know Jocelyn probably would have never married me if I had become that person, because she wouldn't have put up with it, right? So just her being in my life is a miracle that probably came from that event that I didn't understand at the time. Right. it made me miss football so bad that when I got into college, I literally got a teaching degree so that I could pursue football coaching in college or in high school. And then that led to being a head coach, which led to developing my own defense, which led to me selling my defense online, which led to us making money, which led to us starting our education businesses, which led to us quitting our jobs, becoming an entrepreneur, all that. But you don't see that when you're laying on the 3-yard line and your toes pointing down and your knees pointing up. You know what I mean? So, but it's just crazy. And if you think about that, man, if you just always say, all right, anytime things are going bad, you stick Jeremiah 29:11 right in front of you. And you're like, it's okay. I don't know how it's going to be okay, but I'm just going to get drug along.
I'll give you another cool story. It wasn't cool at the time, but it's turned out cool, and tends to be the case. I have a younger sister who just an amazing, and remind me, I'll get you the link, but our mutual friend Brian Harris did his company Video Fruit did a short kind of documentary about her a while back. But basically the nutshell was that she had she'd been married to her high school sweetheart, and they'd been trying to get pregnant. She comes home one day from work, and he says, "Hey, I don't want to be married anymore. I don't want this anymore," and just basically like pulls the plug and leaves. And so like that same day, that night, she takes a pregnancy test and finds out she's pregnant. Like literally a couple hours later. So this all happened. This was a couple years ago. Fast forward, like life is great now. So I remember though, she comes over and is just sobbing and telling my wife and I this story. And I remember telling her this, and I don't know if it was the best thing to say at the time, but I just remember saying like, this is going to be a really cool story someday. Like in the moment, like this is horrible. Like this is absolutely horrible. And how is this all going to play out? And how's this all going to function? You know, but fast forward a couple years, and her business is killing it. Her daughter is amazing. Like life is great. But at the time, you just don't see that. You're just looking at that one little microscopic piece of evidence.
And you know how you go to a business conference and everybody's sitting around at dinner and you're just telling stories, right? You're telling war stories. That's what you do, Right. But like no one ever sits down and says, "Man, I remember back in 2011, there was this Tuesday, and I sat down at my desk, and everything went so perfect that day, and it was just smooth."
Right.
And that's the end of the story. Nobody says that. It's always the dumpster fire.
Right.
That's what you share at dinner, about your business. And so that's a great, I think that's a great way to wrap this up, man, is when you're in the middle of the fire, when you're in the middle of everything going wrong in your business, just remember, it's going to be a great story. God's got a great plan, and he's going to use this to prosper you and not leave you. He's not going to leave you in the dumpster fire. Right. He's coming with the fire extinguisher. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? All right, man. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on and just being bold with your faith, sharing an awesome scripture. I know a lot of people are going to get something out of this today, and it's going to impact somebody out there right now that's having a bad day, and they're going to hear this verse, and it's going to make a difference. So thanks, man, for sharing that. And if you could, real quick, just let everybody know where they can find more about you.
Yeah, if people are interested in the speaking stuff, definitely check out thespeakerlab.com, thespeakerlab.com. We got the podcast and blogs and several different free webinars people can check out there. So yeah, thespeakerlab.com.
All right, thanks, Grant, for being on the show.
You bet, buddy.